like a Paul Bunyan. Men, we don't shave our legs. We have chest hair. But yeah, that's the whole lifestyle of the mullet.
Armchair.
Big news and the big games covered in the Big Ten by the Armchair quarterbacks all year long.
Averaging just under 38 on 44 kicks this year. Nice high kick, got a little wind under it, and it runs Howard back. But it's a little look at that. Oh my goodness. One man. Goodbye. Hello, high school.
Well, the ball is actually a little short of the 1 yard line now. It is fourth down, the final play, unless they can stick it in the end zone. Andre Johnson, Roscoe Parrish, and Kellen Winslow, and Dorsey under pressure. Throws it! Incomplete. The Buckeyes win. They went to Hickman, and Penn State well-timed blitz. LeVar Arrington, the All-America candidate, came across.
Well, it was a great athletic play by LeVar Arrington. As you see, he times his blitz very well, leaves his feet, and hits Hickman in the backfield.
Big Ten football covered in the Southeast by the Armchair quarterbacks.
That's the sound of NyQuil Severe hard at work. NyQuil Severe is the best sleep with a cold medicine. No tossing and turning, just rest and recovery. So you're ready to take on tomorrow. For powerful relief of your worst cold and flu symptoms, try NyQuil Severe. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head, best sleep with a cold medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
What up, this Jay-Z.
This is Jennifer Lopez. Armchair.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
Make sure to listen to the Armchair quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair quarterbacks.
It's morning.
Yes, and what a lovely morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've talked the whole night through.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anyways. Armchair.
CBS Sports Radio.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
Good morning, and this is your Armchair Quarterbacks Sports Flash. According to audio obtained by the Houston Chronicle, Jimbo Fisher was asked what it would take to beat Alabama other than the retirement of 69-year-old Nick Saban. This is what he said.
What's the key other than Saban retiring to find them beating Alabama?
We're going to beat his ass when he's there. So, I don't want him to retire. I don't mean that. They got a great team. I respect. Me and I, we've known each other forever. I mean, we coached together.
For those of y'all that could not understand that, it was, quote, "We're going to beat his ass when he's there. Don't worry about it." Then he went on to talk about how he and Nick Saban were friends, and they are going to do a charity together later in the summer. Saban won his first national championship at LSU in 2004. He has gone on to win 6 more at Alabama, passing Paul Bear Bryant. Since Fisher arrived at Texas A&M in late 2017, the Aggies are 0-3 against Alabama and have been outscored 144-75, including a 52-24 loss last year. A&M finished last season 9-1 and number 4 in the college football playoff rankings. Jimbo Fisher won the national championship of college football in 2013 with Florida State University. The big list is out in college football for the 2022 quarterback draft. These are some of the names that you can look for to be mentioned in the first round favorites of the 2022 National Football League draft to be held in Las Vegas, Nevada. Matt Corral of Ole Miss, 6'1", 205. Best defenses on his schedule: Alabama, Texas A&M, and Auburn. JT Daniels is 6'3", 210 pounds at the University of Georgia. The best defenses on his schedule this year: Clemson, Auburn, and the Florida Gators. Spencer Rattler, he sits at 6'1", 210 out of Oklahoma University. The best defenses on his schedule: West Virginia, OK State, and Iowa State. Desmond Ridder of Cincinnati, 6'4", 215 pounds. He'll face Notre Dame, Tulsa, and Indiana this year. Sam Howell, if you haven't watched this kid sling it, the North Carolina Tar Heel, stands at 6'1", 225 pounds, and he'll play the Hurricanes, Notre Dame, and Pittsburgh. Keep an eye on Mark Willis from Liberty, 6'1", 215. He's got Louisiana, UAB, and Army on his schedule, while Southern Cal, Keaton Slovis, is 6'3", 215 pounds. He's got Utah, Arizona State, and a battle with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Other players of mention: Jaden Daniels of Arizona State, 6'3", 185. Coastal Carolinas, Grayson McCall at 6'3", 200. Brock Purdy out of Iowa State, he's 6'1" and 212 pounds. Tyler Show at Texas Tech has a lot of people's eye, 6'5", 220. And Phil Jerkovich from Boston College Golden Eagles is 6'5", 226. There's some fun series around Major League Baseball this weekend. Here's a quick look at a few of them. The Washington Nationals are at the New York Yankees tonight at 7:05 p.m. Arizona travels to the Mets. That first pitch is 7:10. The battle for Ohio, Indians and Reds, 7:10 first pitch. Plesac is on the mound. The Phillies invade Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves, with 100% capacity allowed, 7:20 is the first pitch. White Sox are at the Royals at 8:10, and the Dodgers and Angels, they begin the Freeway Series at 9:38 Eastern, while the Padres are in San Fran to take on the first place Giants. And that's your Armchair Quarterback Sports Flash. Stay tuned for more of the Armchair Quarterbacks radio show and YouTube Live. Please like, subscribe, and share our show today. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast. Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. The Armchair Quarterback Show, your first choice for Southern sports talk. Good morning, Mr. Justin Waller.
Good morning. I don't know much, but I know one thing. I'd like to wish a happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. This is your weekend. Make it a special one.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. George Paros should be fired. What the hell was that about, NHL? You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's been St. Patrick's Day for hours, and I'm still not drunk yet. Oh, it's never going to be 9 o'clock. Oh, Mo, thank God you're here. We'd like to come in and drink, please.
We kicked down the back door, but then there was a metal door.
Yeah, all right. Listen up. This is the busiest drinking day of the year. Where are the designated drivers? Beat it. I got no room for cheapskates.
Top of the morning to ye on this gray, drizzly afternoon. Kent O. Brockman live on Main Street, where today everyone is a little bit Irish, except, of course, for the gays and the Italians. And Mom on TV.
Hey, where's that weather chick?
This is some wicked patty, eh?
Hey, have you seen Sully?
Get away from there. Hey, I need that pencil. Ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing is a total disregard for the things St. Patrick's Day stands for. All this drinking, violence, destruction of property. Are these the things we think of when we think of the Irish?
Armchair. Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a cool one in his head.
Hey, howdy, hi. Top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Mac McGee sitting alongside Justin Waller. Justin, how the hell are you, sir?
Oh, doing great, Mac. Excited for this weekend. Got a big family weekend planned.
What y'all got going on this weekend?
Just hang out with mom. Pretty much do things she wants to do.
So have you been able to see her much during the pandemic, or does she have her jabs, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, everything's good. They have not taken it, but yeah, we've seen them frequently throughout.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was on lockdown, essentially. I was not allowed to see my mom. She was terrified of the pandemic. That's a whole different story. But I had to respect it, right? And
Right.
so long story short, I saw her for the first time a few weeks ago. We are taking her to a Jacksonville that's never going to go away. Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp minor league baseball game on Saturday night. We were thinking about doing Sunday, but it's going to be first pitch is 3:05 in Florida. We didn't think that was a very good idea to take a 78-year-old woman out to first pitch at 3:05. It actually turns out it's going to be fairly cool, but who the hell knew that a couple weeks ago? So anyways, looking forward to that. I have not been to a ball game. I was trying to think of when the last time I'd been to a ball game. So obviously I didn't go to one at all last year. And I don't really remember specifically the last game I went to. I think it might have been a Jumbo Shrimp game. We did take her to a Jumbo Shrimp game a few years back. So I think that might have been my last game that I went to. Haven't been to a Florida State game in quite some time because my wife and I didn't have the best experience going to our last football game, and just kind of the crowd got a little unruly on both sides. And so she just got turned off by going to live football games. And you know me, I've always preferred watching at home anyways. The beer's a lot closer. I don't have to go stand in line and miss the majority of the game. So there's that as well. But then the other thing is the Braves. I haven't seen the Braves in the new stadium. The closest thing I came to is when you and I went over to watch batting practice, and then ended up going to the football game. But the next game I was going to go to the next day got rained out by a hurricane. So I really don't remember the last time I've been to a live sporting event. It had to have been a Jumbo Shrimp game a few years back.
Yeah, well, I mean, we had, thanks Major League Baseball, we all had plans this summer to meet up and hopefully catch a game, but thanks for 86 in that.
When was the last game, athletic event that you went to that wasn't like going to your kids' game? Like
I was at a Preds game the Saturday before everything shut down on that Monday here.
Okay. I figured it had to be Preds. Yeah.
So I was downtown at the arena for a Preds game that Saturday, and then everything just kind of went kaput that following Monday here in Tennessee area.
I don't remember. Do you remember when we were giving away the Jumbo Shrimp tickets on the show? We had the ball caps that we gave away too. It's been 2-3 years ago.
Yes,
I think that was the last time I've been to a game. I don't honestly, but anyways, moving on from that, because it's not like we got a whole heck of a lot of time. First thing I want to get into real quick is this NHL decision to only fine Tom Wilson. Now I get it that the Players Association has made it where you can only fine $5,000. I get that. And by the way, that's a terrible decision by the CBA, and maybe they'll change it down the road. But it still falls on this George Paros, who is the director of player. I don't know what the hell he is.
Player safety.
Player safety. So every one of these leagues calls it something different, but for all intents and purposes, he lays out the. He's the dean of hockey. You go to his office when you messed up. Not even a suspension. I mean, honestly, if it's me, Justin, he's suspended for the rest of the season and probably a little bit into next year. But at least for the rest of the regular season. And considering there's not many games left, that's not that heck of a hit. What say you?
Torn with this one. One, that's what you get for bad negotiating with your union, that you can only have that fine. I mean, hey, let's just get down to what it is. You want to be mad at somebody, be at that. And two, you got to remember that the director of player safeties is a former enforcer himself. So if he's going to take a completely different stance against them, you shouldn't have put him in that position, Gary Bettman. So that's hard, man. How do you have an enforcer as your director of player safety?
What's the most jaw-dropping thing for people who haven't followed this is the fact that so the player Tom Wilson, we talked about this earlier in the week, where
best hands in the league when it comes to scrapping. I'll just tell you, if you don't watch hockey, he is the elite fighter. He has been for years, and he's a dude that I wanted to see on my team. Now, I don't like what he did, but I've also seen this same department. I didn't mean to catch up on one. I watched PK Subban's head get dribbled like a basketball off the ice by Sidney Crosby in the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals, and we saw nothing about that. So I'm used to it. That's why I'm used to the hockey, and that's why the Washington Capitals have an enforcer. They have a guy that rolls around and protects Alex Ovechkin and TJ Oshie. They have a dude to protect their team. Not the proper way. Again, it goes back to the union. The NHL and the players union will have to sit down and address this in the offseason.
And if they're ever going to get the game more mainstream, they've got to get that out of the sport, because if you bring your kid to a hockey game and let's say you're a single mother, that's not what you're trying to show them, right? We know there's going to be violence in hockey. It's just going to happen. Just like there's going to be bench curling brawls in baseball, and there's going to be, I don't know what the hell you do in football. I guess you just have to hit the guy harder on the next play because everyone's got pads. You can't do a whole lot. But the fact that there's not consequences is a huge issue. And for people who didn't follow this, the most jaw-dropping part of this is, so Tom Wilson, who does the sucker punch, whatever you want to call it, you'd have to go back and watch the video. It was just a really, really dirty play is the sense of it. He gets $5,000 because their hands are tied. They can't, by the players union, they can't fine him more, but they could have suspended him. So that's why everyone's upset with George Paras. But they fine the New York Rangers $250,000 for questioning his judgment. So this guy puts a guy's health at risk. He gets $5,000. You say something in a post-game interview, you get $250,000. I'm not real good with math, but that doesn't seem fair.
Who's negotiating these agreements? Because
if I'm the Rangers, I say, no, I'm not paying it, dude. What are you gonna do to me, Georgie?
Well, that's how they got that's probably how the players union got a $5,000 max fine. They're like, hey, we just won't say anything bad about your office, and you don't fine us more than $5,000. But when we do, you drop the hammer. And then it's just okay, heard.
Exactly. We're gonna be compliant. We're gonna goose step around the Kremlin. But you make sure that no one says anything bad. It's just, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds in the playoffs. Obviously, New York won't be heading to the playoffs. I did like the fact that as soon as the game started the next day, New York dropped their gloves and they went at it. You got to stand up for your teammates. I mean, there's just no way around it. So that, I liked, but at the same token, it's not as much as the guy in me wants to see it. And you want to see the car wreck kind of thing, in the back of your mind, like, it's not good for the game. And I really am pulling for hockey to overtake the NBA because they have an opportunity over the next several years with them going into the mainstream again with ESPN carrying, because regardless whether we like the company or not, ESPN is everywhere, right? And they've got 27 channels and, they're owned by Disney. So they're everywhere. And because that sport is going back onto Disney for the first time it'll be damn near 20 years when it finally comes through, they've got a chance to hit the mainstream and overtake the NBA. And, outside the opening night stuff, the NHL did not lean into the political junk, which is why fans are still loyal to them, right? that's my reason. I mean, I'm just pulling for them to succeed because I think there's a market there. They're not going to overtake the football and baseball crowd because the time frames are different, but they can take some of that NBA crowd, and they have an opportunity to do it over the next couple of years. Moving on from that, I'm going to get into it the next hour because I got the video, but it hasn't quite brought it to me yet, so I'm not going to get into a deep dive. But did you see the Jake Paul Mayweather thing where he grabbed his hat? Did you see this?
I did not.
Oh my God, it's funny. I'm going to pull the video up on the next hour, but Jake Paul is the YouTube star that won some kind of UFC event, which made me laugh because a lot of UFC diehards got mad about it. And all I thought to myself was, I thought your sport was like elite. No one could, you had to train your whole life. And some YouTube star trained for a little bit and he won. I mean, come on, what the hell is that about? But his brother is a boxer and is fighting Floyd Mayweather June 6th, something like that. I was not aware of that because I quit following boxing heavily for a long time. It makes me want to watch this fight now, but which I'm sure this whole thing was orchestrated. It feels very Don King-ish, right? But they're outside. They're somewhere in Miami. It almost looked like the Miami Dolphins football stadium, and there's some kind of a press conference going on for that fight. And Jake Paul, the YouTube star, runs into Floyd Mayweather, who is fighting Jake Paul's brother. I think his name's John Paul, but I don't quote me on that. It's something Paul. And he says, I want to fight you. Now, I don't know if they're talking about doing UFC or if they were just talking about boxing. I don't know. But you could tell it was kind of a setup thing where it felt WWE-ish, right? But then in the middle of it, and there's a video that I found that's being sent to me. The beginning of it on this TikTok video, the guy goes, Jake Paul is talking to the camera without Floyd Mayweather around. He goes, watch, I can't remember if he says what he's going to do or if he says, watch what I do to Floyd Mayweather kind of thing. They get in each other's face in the middle of the argument. He grabs his hat and takes off running. Okay. Floyd Mayweather takes off after. There's a sea of people. You can't see very good video, but evidently Floyd Mayweather got some hands on him, was swinging on him, but you can't see the video very well. So I just have to take for everyone's word that he hit him. But at the end of the video, you see Jake Paul like heading back to the hotel room or something because his shirt has been ripped and he's like, whew, like that. But he changed his Twitter name instantly to Got Your Hat. So I don't know if this is going to turn into an actual pay-per-view event. It feels phony, Justin.
Sounds like Mayweather is going to fight both of them at the same time. As much as he does the point and run, I think he could pull it off. I've been done with Mayweather fights since I dropped $99 on that Pacquiao fight where he continued to fight with the hurt shoulder and didn't tell anybody. So I feel hoodooed on that. I don't feel like I've recouped my $99 worth of losses, and so I'm still not buying in.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it'll be some kind of pay-per-view, and I'm sure I probably won't actually purchase it because there'll probably be something more relevant for me to watch that night, especially if they do it. They're starting it now. They'll do it, in football season? Come on. We all know I'm not going to pay $90 to watch that when I can watch Tennessee versus LSU or something. But it's a fun thing to keep an eye on. Everyone hates this kid, Jake Paul, and I can understand why. But there's the contrarian in me that kind of wants to pull for the chaos because he's so not a UFC respected fighter. You kind of want to pull for him, right? Because you're just like, he is pissing everyone off because he's like, dude, I just went out there and trained for a little bit and I kicked the crap out of one of your best fighters. And now at the time when I saw this a few weeks ago, I did not know that his brother was a decently ranked boxer. And if that's the case, maybe that's why he's so good. Maybe he's been sparring with him his whole career. I don't know, but it was funny as hell. Switching over to baseball. Did you get a chance to watch the Braves day game yesterday?
Watched parts of it. Saw Smiley had a good outing and caught the tail end. Watched Smith close one out with a runner on third and one out. So I saw some good and some bad, but they held on and ended up pulling off the sweep versus the Nationals. Can we just line up Nationals, Cubs, and play them the rest of the year? I mean, can we go to like a COVID schedule?
Yeah, can we play the Nats as long as they don't have Juan Soto? I mean, when Juan Soto, I don't know when he's coming back, but can we get all of our Nats games out of the way?
He's off IL. He's eligible, and they pulled him the past 2 days. So you have to assume at any point he's coming in. Maybe they just didn't want to put him out there against Atlanta, knowing how close them games are. Didn't want him to overdo it. We'll see.
Well, it's also the fact that who are they playing? I know they're going to an AL park, but they're expecting him to DH this weekend.
I think it's Toronto, but I'm not.
Okay. So yeah,
not for sure.
I
could be wrong. Atlanta could be taking on Toronto. I looked at it last night.
Atlanta's playing the Phillies. Here we go. Oh, that's actually kind of fun. Washington versus in New York Yankee Stadium. So you'll probably get him as a DH. So I guess that's why. And so once he comes off of that, I don't know if he'll be in the field or not. But I was like, man, if we could play them more often without him in the lineup, because he is just an absolute. And I didn't realize it at the time until it's now reared its head. When Josh Bell came back from injury, there's nowhere to put Ryan Zimmerman in their fielding lineup unless you have a DH, right? That works out big time for the Braves too, because Zimmerman is a much better hitter and rakes against the freaking Braves. Josh Bell's a good hitter. I've always liked him as a player, but he doesn't scare you like Zimmerman does. I'll never forgive Zimmerman for what has it been, 2007 or 8, when he hit the freaking walk-off in their first game ever at their baseball stadium, and you see it replayed over and over again. Anytime I'm watching a game and they go to commercial, I don't get your regular feed. It's MLB, so I get something they've put together. They show that highlight too often, Justin. I'll just put it that way.
Well, one that we're going to see for a long time. Did you catch Yankees Astros yesterday? Did you see the Glober Torres base running where he beat the shift and scored on a single from first base?
No, I did not. Now that's strange.
Rounded second, nobody covers third. Catcher realizes it, is running down the line to cover third. Glober Torres has realized he's running full speed, and all he's got to do is pass the catcher,
right?
And he runs straight home. So he rounds third. He leaves second. It's a single. He runs first to second. They're in the shift. Nobody.
Do you know who the catcher was?
I do not.
Oh, never mind. It was Gleyber Torres. Never mind. I was thinking it was an Astro that did it to a Yankee, but okay, never mind. Because I was like, man, if that's Sanchez, they're gonna murder him because they just are over him in New York. Oh my god, I got to see that video. That's
it was amazing, especially for young folks that just to see the switch in his head. He realized that, hey, I've got a free third base, and then he realized I'm running against a catcher full speed in gear. He doesn't have the ball, like lights out. He can't catch me, and he flipped the switch and was gone.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, that's
it was little league play that you never see at the big league level, but it truly was just a product of a well-placed single against the shift. And I would love to see more of it so you could stop the shift. But yeah, it was amazing. Unfortunately, the Astros come back and Altuve, somebody beat a trash can and had a thundering 3-run dinger. But aside from that, that was the highlight of that game for me.
Oh God, it was an infield single.
Amazing play.
I'm watching.
You got to share that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he's about to touch third and he realizes you can, I mean, obviously it's not a close in, but you can honestly see by his speed and body language when he realizes, oh crap, I'm about to go home.
Wow. That is unbelievable. I'll get that shared on the other side of the hour. There's some hoops I have to jump through to be able to get that thing shared and not get dinged on it. Wow. I thought it was like a bullet in the gap or something, but that's just flat out. Wow. Yeah.
You don't see that in the major league.
Trying to run with him. He has no shot because they did the big view. It's like me trying to chase down DJ Chark. Okay, I'm coming.
Man, somebody's like a matador and a bull. He's just, I'm just getting out of the way.
It's like, man, just give me a cigarette. I got nothing on this one.
Where's third baseman when you need him?
Drew Smiley pitching well got everyone excited on Braves Twitter, but I'm just gonna tell everyone right now. My feeling on it is, A, they didn't have their best hitters in the lineup. Why in the world Ryan Zimmerman was not playing first base against a soft tossing lefty, I'll never understand. But then the other thing I'm going to say is that he was pitching in the shadows in Washington because it was a late afternoon game, and I think that highly helped him. I'm not convinced this guy still belongs in the starting lineup. We were talking about this earlier in the week, Justin. I'm gonna throw something out at you as well as is playing, or and I've been real big proponent of putting him in the bullpen. Well, I'm ready to concede defeat on that. But if that's the case, then we've got to get real with the fact of how bad our bullpen is. Chris Martin's coming back, hopefully by Monday, but I still think they need another right-handed power arm in the bullpen, which means you either go Bryce Wilson or what's his name? Kyle Wright. And you say, we're putting you in the bullpen this year. The other one, we're going to keep down at the training site in case there's an injury, right? Because this nonsense of the Biddles of the world and the Nate Joneses of the world coming into the 6th, 7th, 8th inning when the game's on the line. Even when Chris Martin comes back, he can't come in every single game. What say you? Because maybe I'm not thinking this clearly, but I feel like when you get Soroka back, you got Fried, Anderson, Charlie Morton, you take Smiley, you throw his ass in the bullpen, and hopefully he can just be either a long reliever or maybe he can be a situational lefty.
I'm hoping Anthopoulos has a plan that we just don't understand at this moment. I hope there's work behind the scenes, and we're looking at some teams that are falling out of contention or look like they could be, and we're going to have to go out and get a closer. I don't think you can make a run in the playoffs, and I know you can't surpass the Padres and Dodgers with this bullpen. So making it to the playoffs will be short-lived.
Yeah, it's maddening. Because
Shane Green's still not the answer. I'm still dumbfounded that you.
Oh, did you see who they signed yesterday?
I did not.
So some jackass on Braves Twitter says he's back. Braves brought him back. Big signing. He teased it, and then like 30 seconds later, it was Tyler Flowers. I was thinking it was Shane Green. I was like, oh, thank God we'll have him and Chris Martin. We'll be all right again. Tyler Martin's heading back to the team. It looks like he is going to actually walk in today as the backup. I forget the kid's name they had playing yesterday because of the 4:00 game, and they didn't want Contreras catching again. But I believe he's going to walk in, even though he hasn't played at all this year. He's supposedly been keeping in shape, and he was somehow involved in the Braves management. So maybe he's been down there, catching at the alternate site is possibility. But he's supposed to be the backup catcher for the Braves going forward until Travis d'Arnaud comes back, which could be quite a while.
I think that torch gets passed eventually.
Does
he come back from this thumb surgery to this organization? I'm not talking major league career. He'll find a position somewhere, but is he – this is a long term, and I don't know if you see him back this season. It will be late in the season when he does come back. This is a huge opportunity for Contreras. If he gets enough time in there and he can settle in at the plate and be productive, I don't know that you get another opportunity for d'Arnaud.
I said it yesterday on Twitter. I was like, man, I think, or maybe it was the night before when he hit that home run. I think d'Arnaud's going to get Wally pipped. For people who don't know that reference, Wally Pipp was the first baseman for the Yankees. He missed a game because of a minor injury. Some guy by the name of Lou Gehrig walked in and then played the next 2,000 games or whatever it was in a row. Wally Pipp was a decent first baseman. He wasn't garbage. But I think he's going to get Wally pipped because when you see d'Arnaud – now, look, d'Arnaud comes back. You definitely want his bat on the bench over Tyler Flowers. But I think Contreras is going to be our starter. At worst, I think they're going to get halvesies. Don't you? He just seems like he's a natural.
He seems like he's ready, and I think he'll be there. And between him and Jackson, I don't know where you fit d'Arnaud in there because Jackson's going to get more time. He's back, correct? Or is he still battling his injury? I thought I saw him back out there.
Alex Jackson, he didn't start yesterday, but I'm thinking what was going on with this is they're going to send Jackson to the alternate site and possibly put him in the minors so he gets regular playing time. They're going to have Flowers as a true backup. I think they want a veteran presence with the rotation. I really think that's what it is.
Probably need one.
Yeah.
Call games, calm them down. Somebody talk to the kid in the dugout. I get it.
And if you think about this long term, if we do make it to October and Travis d'Arnaud is back, he's a good person to have as your designated hitter, right? I mean, you'd like to have Ozuna, but if we don't have someone else,
can we like DFA Ozuna and just go get Pujols? Does it work like that? Can we make that happen?
DFA Ozuna, we would have to pay. So we have to pay both their salaries.
Well, I mean, aren't the Angels paying for Pujols? I mean, we just pick him up on their dime.
Yes and no. The problem is where the hell do you put Pujols? He can only play
DH.
We don't have a DH, so
you do in interleague.
That's why we benched Freddie yesterday, is because they're clearing the path for Pujols. What's your walk off for the day, sir?
Again, just want to shout out to all the moms out there. We couldn't do it without you. Love y'all. Have a great weekend. Talk to everybody Monday, and go Preds. Big weekend in hockey. If you are interested in the NHL, it's down to the wire. Preds got 2 games against Carolina Hurricanes, one Saturday night and one Monday. They haven't beat them all season. They're 4 points ahead of the Dallas Stars. Dallas Stars have 3 games left.
They're playing on Monday? I'm so confused.
It's Saturday, Monday for the Preds this weekend, I believe.
So confused by the NHL schedule, because every time I thought
there's
Sunday
not
was
set
their
days.
last. I thought the freaking I thought the playoffs started on Tuesday, but maybe that's not the case because they're playing on Monday.
I think it pushes another week because you've got Edmonton. I believe it's Edmonton. I don't have the schedule in front of me that has like 4 or 5 extra games that have to be made up this coming.
And they need to play some double headers, man.
Next calendar week.
You shouldn't keep the entire freaking league when waiting on them.
I mean, why would you hold up America in a Canadian sport? I mean, we win your championship every year. So what does it matter if a Canadian team needs to make something up? I mean,
exactly. It'll take them forever to get through their rounds anyways.
We'll have them knocked out before y'all even get qualified. So,
Exactly. All right, brother. Well, I'm going to see if you see that the Preds game is actually being televised nationally or something, let me know, because I am interested in that. This is about the time that I start actually paying attention. And
I mean, I hate to recommend it's going to be on ESPN Plus.
Oh, it is. Okay.
I'm showing it right now.
Sweet. Tonight's game or Saturday night's game?
Well, I got to look and see what I'm looking at here, sir. No, Saturday night's game is ESPN Plus.
Okay.
And hell, it says the same thing on Monday night.
There's a bunch of games on Monday. So what I saw on Tuesday must have been a bunch of junk from Google had never fixed there, because I was trying to figure out when did it end. What really sucks about this, if they hold up the playoffs, then they're going to hold off the start of the playoffs. I wanted them to get a good series in before the NBA started theirs on, I think, May 22nd or something. I forget what the exact date, but it's like May 22nd. Man, play some double headers. Was it Vancouver that's screwing everything up?
I believe it is. I'm sitting here looking at the schedule now at who's.
Well, there's a lot of games on Wednesday, so I'm so confused. I think ESPN has not updated their junk. So it looks like the only games that are being played next Saturday and next Sunday are Vancouver. So maybe and then Tuesday would start the playoffs.
Yeah, Thursday you have 3 teams playing, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's only 1 game. So that's Vancouver and someone. Looks like, oh no, it's all the Canadian teams making up games. I'll have it more dialed in and exact, but yeah, it's
I asked Sean via text last night because I was like, "Can you clarify something?" And what he told me was not right, because when I'm looking at this schedule, this is going much longer than just this weekend. He was trying to tell me that Vancouver was the only team that was playing this coming week, but as much as he watches like all of hockey and he's confused, that just kind of
looks like May 19th, Wednesday, is Vancouver's last game. They're playing Calgary for 2 games on Tuesday the 18th.
That Saturday starts the NBA playoffs. Originally, the NHL playoffs were supposed to start this coming Tuesday.
Yes.
Jeez.
Thank you, Canada.
Yes. Canada. Thanks, Biden. All right, brother. Can we start doing that now?
I think it's been long enough.
Yeah,
We're
sure.
past the 100 days, aren't we?
Exactly. Supposedly. All right.
Yeah. Who's counting? See you, bud.
I'm counting every single one of them. All right, we'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
You're riding morning shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays on WAOC 96.5 FM, 1420 AM, and streaming on the Armchair Quarterbacks app. Download it today. Your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on CBS Sports Radio, #1 sports station.
For the first time in 39 years, the Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup. Zone. The
They score with 28.8 seconds left. The Leafs have tied the game.
McCarty draws. McCarty in.
Armchair Quarterbacks Radio, covering the NHL like no other.
Going on here, guys? All right, coach. So basically, it was a holding call. But these dudes started me in their fantasy league, which is cool because this dude started our quarterback, but he started our kicker and I started their defense. So it's kind of a pickle.
Compromising the integrity of this game with your fantasy football leagues? Listen to me. If there was holding, you make that holding call. I don't care if it was on our team or not. I care about this game too much to let you.
Coach, you started their defense too, didn't you? Yeah, you definitely started their defense.
Damn right I did.
Armchair.
If only the world was less like this.
I could use a smoke.
Hey, put that out.
And more like this.
I could use a smoke.
You murderer! I might have children one day.
Smoking kills unless you kill first. If you're around a smoker, you will die. Smokers may look relaxed and like they're having fun. Don't believe it. Vote yes on Proposition 421. Let's outlaw smoking everywhere, even in people's homes, and allow honest citizens to legally kill anyone who smokes. Let's live in a world without smokers. Prohibition works. Let's prove it. Vote yes on Proposition 421.
Armchair.
Let's face it, where you're betting is just as important as who you're betting on. That's why I go to mybookie.ag. It's fast, it's easy, and they pay you when you win. Look, I wouldn't be telling you to bet mybookie.ag if they weren't the best. Do the smart thing. If you're going to bet this football season, bet with mybookie.ag. Promo code SKIN. That's SKIN. When you use that promo code, MyBookie will match 100% of your deposit up to $1,000. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code SKIN.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way.
Shut up, Hayden! I'm gonna tell Mom about you using a vacuum cleaner on your penis!
Trace, you better get in the truck before I tell everyone you got your sister pregnant.
Yeah, so what? So what? I got my sister pregnant. I'm gonna be a dad.
Armchair.
Good morning. Welcome back here to CBS Sports Radio. If you're not watching the video on YouTube, you're listening to us on CBS Sports Radio. You really need to check out that. That's some funny stuff. Some of these videos I come across, these people, man, I mean, worst thing they ever did was give the United States TikTok, because there's way too much creativity, way too much downtime, and people are coming up with funnier and funnier stuff every day. Okay, let me see if I can find what Justin was talking about a second ago. This is kind of funny, and I'm gonna go ahead and let me see here. All right, share the screen. I won't have the volume on, but this is pretty funny here. Okay. This is the play in question. Let me rewind it. Okay, beginning of the play right here. The ball goes through the wicket of the second base, and are you kidding me? It's not going to load. Junk. All right, never mind. I'm not going to worry about it. Anyways, I think what happened was there's too much. What the hell? All right, never mind. I'm not going to worry about it. Anyways, the point is, the ball goes right through the wicket. You saw where the ball essentially was. Video wouldn't load because there was too much other junk on Twitter. But anyways, once he gets past that line of the second baseman, there's no one guarding third. The third baseman is standing on second. It's the shortstop chasing the ball into the outfield. The second baseman's staying over in left field. So that's why there's no one on third. The catcher runs up to hit third, and then it's just it's a foot race, and he doesn't have the ball. So you're going to have to be a special kind of athlete to be able to run with Torres with all that equipment on, catch the ball and apply the tag. It's essentially impossible. And a catcher is not the person who's going to be able to do it. You're going to need like a center fielder out there. So anyways, it was a very smart heads up play by Torres. Unfortunately, they lost the game. So they were not happy about that. Now let me see if I can get this other one to load, because this one is this is the Jake Paul one. This one's funny. And let me see here.
Steal Floyd Mayweather's hat.
All right, so this is the beginning of it. Let me get it actually on the actual. All right, here we go. This is him explaining him. I ended up having to mute it because there was some cursing and whatnot. So the tail end of it's not going to have any audio. But here is here's what we were talking about. This is just hilarious.
To steal Floyd Mayweather's hat. I'll let you guys know how it goes.
Let's make it happen. Yes, sir. Get your pet work with his ball. Get Al Hannon. Absolutely. I don't need Al Hannon. Let me call Al. I'm my own boy. I'm my own boy. Got your hat.
Yeah, that's when most of these videos started playing, what's the song? I'm about to lose my mind. And then there at the end it's him in the hotel going, woo! He says something to the effect of, my God, that was a mess. But look, and I get it that it felt very WWE-ish. But look, the guy's creating a brand for himself. I can't hate on him, and I find the whole thing entertaining. Am I going to lay down the money to watch it? Probably not. I mean, this Floyd Mayweather, how old is he? He's not one of the best boxers in the world anymore. So no, I get that he's one of the better ones of all time. You talk to a lot of actual boxing aficionados, they won't even rank him very high because of his style. They feel like if he would have fought some of the greats in the past in his particular weight class, he would get dominated. It's just a really bad that weight class right now is in a very, very bad era of time. But I get the fact that people are going to get into this. And if they make it somewhat affordable, a lot of people are going to buy it. If they do this on a weekend where there's nothing else going on, and hell, maybe they do it as early as Labor Day. He's boxing on June something. And so that would give him the month of June, July, and the month of August. I mean, he could in theory be fighting on Labor Day weekend against Jake. He's fighting his brother in June. I think his name's John, but anyway, so someone have to clarify that for me. We've got a lot of stuff going on here with the Armchair Quarterbacks. Just want to let y'all know about that. And one of the things is we are starting new shows because now that we've gone to the new formats and we're doing the 1 hour morning show, we're trying to give you more, okay, in less time. We see most people don't stick with us for the entire hour and a half. Before that was 2 hours. And so what we saw was this time frame that we're on now, 8:30, 9:30 was the best. It also worked best with everyone involved. So I always have to keep that in mind, because remember something, we're not making any money off of this. Like, we're trying to build something, but this isn't something that we're out there, raking in money. We ain't Jake Paul right now. But so we're going to continue to do the Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 9:30 on Fridays. We will be on at 8 on a separate channel feed, meaning it'll still be on the Armchair Quarterbacks, but we're going to do the Tony Show at 8, and then we have to drop it and come back on at 8:30 because when they grab it from the radio station, it's got to be an hour. I can't have it 90 minutes, just the way that they're set up. It makes their life easier. So that's why, if you notice, if you were watching this morning, I'm sure a lot of y'all didn't realize that we were doing that, but you can go back and watch Tony's show. Tony's always, phenomenal, and we really do appreciate having him. And his schedule just wasn't going to work out any other way. And Fridays aren't that bad for me to be able to do it that way. So if I only have to do that one day a week, it's not the end of the world. And we definitely want to keep his content. So 8 to 8:30, Tony's going to be on here on Fridays. The rest of the week, it's 8:30 to 9:30, right? Okay, so you got that. That's the Armchair Quarterbacks live show. Okay, all right. So put that aside. Compartmentalize that. What else we have coming up is, starting tomorrow morning, Sean O'Toole and I are going to begin a fantasy baseball analytics show. Stephen Troche will be joining us. We just don't know which episode he's going to be able to join us with. He's got some personal things going on that's not going to work in his schedule yet, but we wanted to go ahead and get one going. We really didn't want to wait until the middle of June or July to get that going, because fantasy baseball is because the next thing you know, we're going to have to switch gears and go into fantasy football. So that's why we're starting it tomorrow. That show tomorrow, I'm pretty sure we've got that going at 10 a.m. Eastern. And that'll be every single Saturday, unless something, unless we can't work it in. But that'll be for the foreseeable future. We'll do those on Saturdays. All right. So you put that aside. We're going to be doing the fantasy baseball show, 10 a.m. every Saturday. You'll also obviously be able to watch it anytime you want. If Saturdays at 10 don't work for you, you can go back and watch it. And they're going to be putting that on some different stations down the road. There's some interest in this. It's one of the reasons why we're doing this. All right. Saturdays, starting a week from tomorrow, we're beginning a Chicago baseball show. Joey Areola and his friend that is a White Sox fan. So Joey's a big Cubs fan. His friend, I don't know his name, but we'll get all that info out. A week from tomorrow, we'll be doing two shows on Saturday, 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. Eastern. The 11 a.m. Eastern will be the Chicago baseball show. We're going to call that the Neighborhood Play. The fantasy baseball show is going to be called the Payoff Pitch. Okay. So we've got that going on. And then we are working on a Red Sox Yankees show. We're trying to get Angelo back into the swing of things. The other person we're trying to get with that is Timus. They're both trying to get figured out with their scheduling. So I don't know what day and what time that'll be on, but obviously you'd be able to watch it anytime because it's on YouTube. And that's kind of the whole point of this. It's what I'm calling a vodcast. And then all these are up to be put into different markets at time on actual external radio. And then So we got the fantasy baseball show, the Chicago baseball show, Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees. It'll basically be AL East. I'm going to be defending the Tampa Bay Rays in that show. So, it'll be the entire AL East is basically what we're doing. I don't know what we're going to call that yet, but that's, down the road. And then I am going to be starting tomorrow a very short Atlanta Braves show. And that is there's some listeners that have kind of hinted to me. They're like, we get that the show's shorter, et cetera, but you really don't get into you're not going to have time to get into the Braves as much. Are you still going to do the long segments of the Braves? I said, no, honestly, we're going to hit the topics of the day. We're going to be, we'll talk baseball, but it's not, the Braves aren't always the number one story every day. So it's whatever happens, like the Gleyber Torres thing today. Right. So anyways, we'll touch on the Braves with Justin, but essentially my daily Braves show, that is going to start tomorrow. The time will differ every day. And I apologize for that, but with my crazy schedule, I'm just going to try to swing it in and it's going to be a reactionary show of the game before. Okay. So it'll be sometime in the morning most days that I'll do that. A lot of days I'm planning on being around 9:45 Eastern, right? I get done with this show and then I just go do my Brave show. But it will vary because there's times where my work schedule changes so much on my other job that it's up and down, back and forth. I never know what time I'm going to be on. So tomorrow morning, I'm actually doing that prior to all the other ones. I'm planning on doing that one tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to do it after the Sean one this coming week. I'm going to do that at so we're going 10 to 11. So I'll be doing that around 11-ish, 11 to 11:30 Eastern-ish is what I'm planning on doing. But regardless, if the time changes, you'll just have to catch it. And that one's going to be called Bullets in the Gap. That's basically an homage to one of my favorite broadcasters, who is an ex-Brave, Mark DeRosa. It's one of his famed lines, and I just thought it would be a good name for the show. So that's what we're going to be doing there. And then, of course, when football season comes, we're bringing the fantasy football show back. We're bringing the Dixie Football Nation show back. That will be every Saturday morning with Tony and the rest of the guys, Matt, and I really enjoy that show. I think it's one of our best shows. And then talking about possibly, if people have time, when the baseball season starts coming to an end, of doing an SEC specific and an ACC specific show. But we'll put that on the back burner for now. Definitely the fantasy football one's coming, and definitely the Dixie Football Nation one's coming. And we might have some AFC South specific ones as well. We've talked about possibly doing one where we're talking about the Jags and Titans, etc. So there you have that. And most episodes, the Armchair Quarterbacks live in the morning, we're just going to be doing, whatever's the topic of the day. Real quick before we have to get out of here, because that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. I'll tell you that right now. Get into really, really quick before we have to jump out of here, some of the games that are going on today and some of the matchups that you might want to be paying attention to. So today, most series are just beginning. Excuse me. You do have the Cubs and the Pirates early today. The Cubs are at home. I love when the Cubs are at home on the weekend. I wish they would do that more than not, because you get that Friday afternoon 2:20 game. And there's just something about starting your weekend off with the Friday 2:20 game. A lot of good college baseball this weekend, by the way. And if you get a chance to watch that, like I said, ACC Network, Florida State's at Notre Dame. They're going to have their hands full, but I am going to try to watch quite a bit of that series. You've got the Yankees hosting the Nats. I'll be paying attention to that quite a bit. This is an interesting pitching matchup tonight because you got Patrick Corbin versus James Tyon. Both of them have underperformed this year. Both of them are lefties that they expected to be pitching much better by the beginning of May. Corbin, an 8.1 .30 ERA, and Tyon 5.24. Remember, Corbin's was the $130 million man that they signed. What was it, 2-3 years ago? He has not turned out what they thought he was going to be. He's been decent, and he helped them win that World Series. So enough said, but he has not been what they thought he was going to be. They thought he was going to be elite shutdown type status, and he is not. Reds and Indians, that should be a fun series. The Reds have kind of like fallen off by the wayside a little bit, but I will say that going up against Plesac today, but I think the Reds have a decent chance of winning this series. And the other series, obviously, Philadelphia is at Atlanta, and that is going to be a big deal, obviously, for the NL East concern. Philadelphia is coming in this thing red hot. They just swept the Brewers. The Brewers are a pretty darn good baseball team. So they just swept the Brewers, and Philadelphia leads the division over Atlanta by 1.5 games. The Mets a game. So the Braves are actually in third place. Braves are hosting the Phillies. Mets are hosting Arizona, which is a feisty team. We found that out the hard way. And you've got a wide open NL East right now, and a lot of good games that are going to be going on this weekend. If I was going to have my head into anything, it would be a little bit of college baseball and a lot of Major League Baseball. I'm still so disappointed to find out that the NHL playoffs are not going to start next week. That really pisses me off. Get it together, NHL. You're going to screw around, and you're going to wait till the NBA starts their playoffs and go head-to-head with them every night like you do every single year. And I know this is a broken record, but my God, when are you going to learn? You're not going to get these fans involved in it when you have someone who lives in the United States, especially south of the Mason-Dixon line, and they did not grow up around ice and snow. 9 times out of 10, that person is going to pick the round ball that bounces as opposed to the flat ball that skids across the ice. And to get them locked in, get your playoff started earlier. It's asinine. Absolutely asinine. I'm still going to try to catch that Preds game Saturday night, but it's a little less interesting to me now because I thought it was the very last of the year, and now they've dragged it out. Yeah. Couple other interesting ones that are going to be on national TV this weekend. You got the Blue Jays and Astros. That should be a really fun series. And the White Sox Royals, they're nose and nose in the AL Central right now. And pretty good pitching matchup tonight. You got Keller versus Rodon. Also, if you're up late, and I know a lot of people who listen to the show are not up that late, but the Dodgers host the Angels this weekend. That should be a lot of fun. The Dodgers are struggling. Now, they send Urias to the mound today against Canning, so that's advantage Dodgers, but they have been struggling to score. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here and do turn back times and our walk-offs here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Here we go on another Friday. Hope everyone enjoys their weekend, and here we go. On this date in 1903, man, 118 years ago, it is the anniversary of the very first game, which will become one of sports' fiercest rivalries, but you would never recognize it by the headlines. The Pilgrims beat the Highlanders at Avenue Grounds 6-2. The teams will eventually change their names. The Pilgrims, who would actually be in the very first World Series as the Boston Pilgrims, would become the Red Sox, and the Highlanders would become the New York Yankees. So there's a 118-year anniversary of that rivalry beginning. Also on this date in 1917, Babe Ruth out pitches and outduels the great Walter Johnson in a 1-0 victory against the Senators. Of course, this is when Babe Ruth was with the Boston, then the then Boston Red Sox, the Pilgrims of yore. He outduels Walter Johnson is considered, for most people that saw him play, they believe he's the greatest pitcher to ever play the game. You ever go back and watch his videos? I'll tell you one thing. His delivery had been a pain in the ass to do. He was a right-handed Randy Johnson. There was obviously a lot more refined because, Randy went through slumps in his career. Obviously, I never saw him play. But if you ask me, gun to my head, who is the greatest pitcher of all time, I always go with Walter Johnson because his statistics are ridiculous. It was a different era of baseball, and I get that. But there are things that guy did that will never be touched again. At the time, the 3,000 strikeout mark was considered unbelievable and untouchable because they didn't know people would start swinging for the fences, which Nolan Ryan eventually surpasses him with 5,000 Ks. But it was a different game back then. You had a lot of punch and Judy hitters. But his record of like 100 shutouts and ridiculous. I don't remember his complete games, but it's off the charts. It'll never be touched. Birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
All right, I'm gonna first of all, happy birthday to James Loney. Remember him? Baseball player, played for the Rays is the big thing that I remember him from. Happy 43rd birthday to Sean Marion, one of the more athletic basketball players that we had last generation. I guess, God, it's hard to admit that nowadays. But this is also the birthday of Mr. Alex Smith. Happy 37th birthday to him. Alex Smith, of course, just recently retired, and from the National Football League, and from 05 to 2012, played with the 49ers, then went to the Chiefs, then went to the Skins, and had that terrible injury that was life-threatening. If you've never seen that E60 or whatever the heck they call that, check that out. It's impressive what he went through. And I would have loved to seen anybody sign him this year and watch him play again, even if he's as a backup. But maybe he just like, enough is enough. I'll tell you what, if he's willing to come out of retirement, any team would be foolish not to want him as your backup. Because you also get another, not only do you get a solid backup, a guy that can actually maneuver through your offense, and he's not going to lose games for you, but you get a second coach. All right, we'll go ahead and get out of here. My walk-off was pretty much what I talked about all the last 20 minutes, which was we've got a lot of stuff coming to Armchair Quarterbacks. So the morning show has dialed back again, but we're going to have more content, and I think it's going to be better because team-specific interest, they can dial in and watch it. And then, of course, if y'all, how we are, the Chicago baseball show is it's gonna bleed over into basketball and football. You know how we do, but we're gonna try to stay focused on sports. And I just got an inbox. Yes, the baseball show, I'm going to try to have guests with me, but it's really hard to dial that up and get it organized. Basically, we're going to react to the games before the day before and talk about any kind of relevant injuries or moves and stuff like that. Just kind of get your day going if you're a Braves fan. So we'll start that to manana. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are the Armchair Quarterbacks.
It's Friday, working stiffs. Everybody.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy weekend!
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah.